Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live Events Coalition Town Hall on the eve of the 4th of July celebration. We wanted to bring you up to date on a few things before we launch into membership and let you know what's going on. So one of the most exciting parts is that as an organization, as many of you know, our mission is to be the voice of our industry in order to make sure that those on Capitol Hill know who we are, know that our needs are very unique. We were closed first, we're going to open last. It's going to be a long haul, and that we need some very special recognition and relief packages. With that said, we are about to launch our communications campaign, phase 1, that we are working with our creative advocacy agency on, which is very, very exciting. And if you hear me use the word subject matter, that is the creative advocacy agency that we are working with. And this is phase 1 of a multi-phased campaign. We will post this on Facebook for anybody who wants to have access to it, and it is for everybody to be involved. So Isaac, if you can bring that up, we can run through it real quick and share with people kind of what the concept is. As many of you know, as an industry, people don't really know what we do. We create magic and we create miracles, and we do it all behind the scenes. And so one of the things that's very important is part of this is about awareness and letting people know who we are and what we do. So the campaign is #WishIWasThere. Many of you may go on to that and see that there are hundreds of thousands of posts already, but most of those posts are from people saying, I wish I was there, and it's a personal vacation picture. And so ours is to basically spin that and talk about the fact that wish I was there has to do with where you wish you were and where we wish we were. So you can go down to the very first one if you would. So we talked about having some nostalgia for fun in the summer. And many of us have worked on outdoor events, 4th of July events, big conferences, big concerts, any and all of the above, weddings, anything that we have done in this industry in the summertime. So what we're asking people to do between the 5th and the 15th of July is to select photos that you have, convert them to black and white, and then post them with a hashtag wish I was there. Write a short caption so that someone who sees it may get a sense of who you are. So this caption says, I'd rather be taking snapshots of the bridal party today instead of wondering when I might be able to get back to work. Wish I was there. The intent of this is to post as many as you want. You can post them daily. You can post them twice a day. But it is to build traction as it relates to the campaign itself. As I said, this is phase 1. It's almost the passive part of our phase. In phase 2, we will build out the Wish I Was There campaign in a somewhat more curated methodology. And I'm not going to share any of that, but it's exciting because I know us as an industry, we all get excited about things. So I'm only going to let you know what we're going to do right this minute so that we don't cheat and move to the next phase. But if people are interested in doing this, this will be posted on the Facebook page. This will be sent out to our database. So anyone who becomes a member this evening will be in our database, and you will receive an email on Monday with all of these instructions. I think there's one more page, Isaac. Oh, here are some more sample posts. But if you notice, the reason that we like the black and white is it creates a consistency of the campaign, and it really does kind of resonate with people. I always find that black and white photos are kind of timeless. So the first one is, and these were produced by our creative agency. So the names of the organizations are probably not who actually provided those photos. But the first one is the first 4th of July, where we won't be able to put on the best light show in town and bring our city a little closer together. Wish I was there. The next one is, I should be bartending one of the biggest parties of the summer, but without the event, I've left wondering how I'll be able to afford healthcare. Hashtag wish I was there. And the final sample is, this would have been my 100th event working as a sound engineer, but instead, our company is just wondering when we'll be able to have shows again. Hashtag wish I was there. So as you can see, this impacts anything that any of us do in this industry. You can be a sound, lighting, video engineer, you can be a bartender, you can be a florist, you can be a caterer, you can be an event planner. Technically, that's not really lights in the first picture. I believe that that's fireworks. You can be a fireworks operator. So there's a spread of things that we can do. So the goal and objective of this is to get people to understand that the ecosystem of our industry is massive. It's not just one person. We had a conversation today and somebody said, we do such a good job that people don't really know that we exist. Guests arrive at an event, it's set up, it's done. They enjoy the show, they enjoy the evening, whatever it may be. They leave, they don't see it get broken down. So the fact that we're miracle workers has been an amazing opportunity. Unfortunately, it's not been in our best interest now, and we want people to see us come out from behind the curtain and say, here we are. And without us, you don't have experiences, you don't have events, you don't have concerts, you don't have weddings, you don't have sporting events. You really just don't have anything because we are what makes that work. The next slide is really just the instructions. So as I said, this will be posted on our Facebook page, as well as we will email it out to anybody who is currently in our database and anyone who joins. So if you would like it, let us know. We want as many people to participate. In about a week and a half from now, we'll come back and share with you what the next phase of this is. But this will go through August with hopes that when the Congress and Senate come back in session, which is on July 20th, that way they will realize that we're loud, we're important, and we're critical. We're a $1 trillion industry. We have 12 million people that work in this industry or touch this industry. So in numbers, there is power and our voices are strong. So collectively, I think we can make a difference and get people to really hear us. The other part of this is that this is a very, very critical part of what our mission as an organization is. The Live Events Coalition was started from the petition that I'm sure many of you signed that was created following the first part of the pandemic coming out and watching our industry close down quickly. 500,000 people, almost 500,000 people have signed that petition. And from that, a group of strangers, started by Isaac and several others, all came together to say, oh no, this can't happen, and we're gonna all work together to make sure that we're heard. The primary focus of this organization is to be the advocacy arm of our industry. We are what is called a 501c6, which is a business enterprise. So we are allowed to lobby. It is basically what a 501c6 does. So our primary mission is to provide support and resources for our industry through our advocacy work. We are working day in and day out on that. We have 20 state coalitions, and within those state coalitions, they are lobbying on the ground within their states. And then we take all of that power and bring it to the national level. I don't want to take up much more time, but this is part of the exciting part, along with membership and engaging with all of you that are out there and more, and making sure we make some noise and let people know how important we are. There are some additional things related to legislation, but I'm going to turn that over to Isaac to share with you some of the updates of some of the bills that we as an organization have actually signed on to. Take it away.
Thanks, Nancy. We definitely behind the scenes. We've never done really the political lobbying thing before. This is all new to us, but in the last 3 months, we've definitely made a lot of great strides working with subject matter, but also in the state coalitions to really learn about, how can we impact and be part of the conversation. Behind the scenes with the state coalitions, we've been doing numerous calls with senators across the country, and all the states that we have coalitions and beyond. And really, what we've been working for is getting some bills moving forward that help impact our industry. So the two big things we're looking at right now is kind of just stabilization right now of income. So with the PPP running out, we need the next bill, and the next bill that we've really worked behind the scenes to push, along with partners in NEVA, and NATO and some other organizations, U.S. Travel, and other ones that are really pushing, is the Restart Act, which actually provides a longer term stabilization than the first 8 weeks. It's a 6 month program, so it's kind of an extension and expansion of the payroll protection program. And a big something major happened today is that it was introduced actually in the House of Representatives and not just being debated in the Senate. And we really were pushing behind the scenes and played a very key role in speaking with a number of senators that actually signed on as additional bipartisan co-sponsors. So we're excited about the Restart Act because it extends relief to 6 months, but also for industries like ours and companies that have an economic loss of very extreme, and actually can go to a year that you're able to use these monies. So there's a number of things built into the Restart Act currently that will be very beneficial for the businesses in our industry. So that's one major success. The other piece we are pushing for is getting, and it's a tough discussion in Congress, is obviously extension of the pandemic unemployment assistance program. While it's a taboo issue, kind of, it's become partisan. We're pushing and explaining that this is not a partisan issue. We have an industry of workers that aren't going to have jobs to go back to because we don't have events to go back to. So in this next care package, another piece of any piece of legislation that includes extension, we're open to a sliding scale. I mean, I think a big point for a lot of for some people on certain sides of the aisle is that it's a flat $600. We've thrown out there that, hey, we could do this as a sliding scale, but we need to have some type. Regular state unemployment assistance is not going to stabilize the families in our industry, and so we're trying to speak loud and clear on that. And in the next month here, these are the issues that are going to become part of where the "Wish I Was There" campaign goes. It initially is just talking about and getting people to recognize that we wish we were there, we wish we were working, we're not coming back soon, and connecting with the public per se, because right now the American public, still friends and family, may understand our plight, but the average person does not understand how large the event industry is and how much it impacts their daily life. So that's always been from day one, from the petition, that we can't just lobby the federal government and get our politicians to ask. They're at the will of the people. So if we actually are able to have this political campaign the same way restaurants have, the same way restaurants have put out their need, and kind of being in the forefront of the conversation, that we are going to see a lot better things. Additionally, with the Restart Act, in these conversations behind the scene with Senator Gardner and Senator Young, we have had good dialogue. So as this bill gets debated and there are rewrites to it, we can be involved in the conversation to make sure that things that are changed in these bills are going to hopefully go the direction we need them to go to fit our industry. Because we know initially with the payroll protection program, there were a lot of businesses in our industry that had difficulties really fully utilizing the payroll protection program, and changes that needed to happen, whether it was our venues, whether it was some of our businesses that just couldn't hire people back because there was nothing to do. So there's a whole lot that's been going on behind the scenes legislative wise. It's kind of, right now we're in recess, but the whole point of why this campaign is launching, why we're launching membership now, is because in the next month and a half is a critical juncture in the federal aid packages, and what the future of our industry holds, because whatever comes out of this is going to pretty much be what we have for the rest of this year. And if we don't get a good aid package that helps the business in our industry, there will be a great, I mean, I can't even imagine the economic devastation beyond what we're seeing now this fall, when we have still these reduced incomes, but with no federal aid at that point that's fitting our industry. So that's our hope with legislation, and what we're working hard towards with the state coalitions.
Thank you so much, sir. So without any further ado, unless there are any questions regarding that, we're going to jump right into membership, let me address a couple of things. I have seen some questions about how will this help people immediately. The challenge that we're all in, guys, is that the lobbying process and getting people that can really make a difference and change things and provide us with what it is that we need and bring in relief packages doesn't happen fast. The empathy that I have for all of us that are all struggling is real. And that's why we have to engage. It's why we have to make noise. It's why within your states you need to become involved. It's why we are sending letters. It is all of the things. It is the one thing that we can do. It doesn't feel like enough sometimes, particularly when you're looking at lost revenue or you're looking at having to work multiple jobs. You're wondering where the next paycheck is going to come from. All of those things are real. Unfortunately, this is the one thing that we can do. We can use our voices and we can make sure that we're heard. We can make sure that they understand the gravity of where we are as an industry. So I hope that people understand that we wish that we had something that could make this go away faster. But it's the process and it's the method in which this happens. And it is not easy and it's not fun. And I will tell you that as an event professional, I never thought that this was where I was going to be. I don't think any of us thought this, but it is where we are, and it's what we're learning to do every day. And we are making as much noise as possible and then some. So please know that we're all working for you and working as hard and as fast as we can. We are aligning ourselves with other organizations that are putting forth legislation as well to make sure that they know that we need to be a part of that so that the industry as a whole is seen. So I just wanted to make sure that people understand that our hearts are hurting for all of us and we're doing everything that we possibly can. Now I'm going to turn it over to Bonnie.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to introduce myself to everyone that is on this Facebook Live this evening. I am the owner of Cafe a la Carte and Chocolate Fountains of South Florida, and I have been in the events industry for almost 25 years. I came to the Live Events Coalition, ironically, through signing the Change.org petition that currently has 470,000 signatures. I immediately, as all of us, when our country came to a close so quickly, when I saw that Isaac had started this petition, my immediate response was, how can I help? How can I get involved? And how can I represent the people in my state of Florida and help us to get our voice heard, being helpless? Once I had spoken to Isaac and realized the impact that the Live Events Coalition could have, and what I want to do is try and put some clarity to a lot of people that have asked questions. Many of you know who know me know that I have been deeply embedded in many of the associations that represent our industry. And without naming all of the associations that we all know, the main point that I would like to drive home to everybody is the difference between associations and our coalition for the live events. So for clarification purposes, the event associations that most and many of us are familiar with, and these associations, they focus on the following. They focus on education, they focus on resources, they focus on industry certification, networking, industry awards, conference gatherings, and they are solely there to empower event professionals in our careers. You can see my CPCE behind my title. I support these associations. I am a former past president. I have sat on my local board for over 15 years for our association. So I want to be sure that everybody understands the difference between the associations. I've had so many people email me and ask me, why are our associations not doing enough for us. And that is what led me to, in addition, to want to be on the board for the Live Events Coalition. The coalition's mission, so everybody understands, is to lobby on our behalf for the entire live events coalition and for the entire live events industry. We are here to educate policymakers, the general public, on the seismic impact the pandemic has had on us. We are an industry force of over 12 million people. I have learned so much in my couple of months that I've been working with all of these amazing people, because we are trying to connect the dots, literally, from the people that do invitations all the way across the huge spectrum of people that put on these huge concerts and festivals and things that many of us that do weddings, social, and corporate events don't connect. But we are all part of one large, very huge ecosystem. And unfortunately, right now, we do not have a united voice. And we are not powerful in numbers. And I've said this over and over again. Cruise companies, they have a voice. Restaurants, they have a voice. Hotels, they have a voice. Because our industry is so segmented and our reach is so far and wide, this is why the Live Events Coalition wants to represent all of you. We are not a competitor, we are an ally, and we are a voice. And we want everybody to understand that we are here for you. Right now, we have been very fortunate. We have many industries associations that have aligned with us. And I'd like to mention some of those current alliances so people understand the work that we are doing on a consistent daily basis. I mean, I know Isaac is constantly on calls. Nancy is constantly on calls. I've been on calls with legislators. Alex, Eileen, so many of us are doing this 24/7 because right now there's really not much else for us to do except be everyone's voice. With that said, many of you know Meetings Means Business, which is powered by U.S. Travel Association. They have aligned with us. The National Sports Forum, Behind the Scenes, the ESA, which is the Event Safety Alliance, the IAEE, the Exhibitions and Events Means Business, the Showmakers Symposium, and the Stadium Managers Association have all aligned with us. They have all chosen to partner with us. And I feel so strongly that through subject matter and everything that we are coordinating for advocacy, we are going to be heard. And the only way that we are going to be heard is going to be powerful in numbers. We are trying to convert all of the 470,000 signatures that are on isaacschange.org petition to Live Events Coalition members. So I'm going to segue a little bit and just talk about membership. And I invite everybody who's on here tonight to go to the liveeventscoalition.org. There's a little link on the top right-hand side that says, join us. We know that everybody right now is financially hurting. There's not one of us here, and there's not one of the 12 million people that are associated with the live events industry that are not hurting. But we are going to be powered through advocacy, and in order to do that, we need everybody's support. Many of us pay our association dues, and this is something that I feel very strongly about, and I hope that all of you do as well, that we want to be your voice. So we have, and I hope if you guys get a chance tonight to go on liveeventscoalition.org. We have started a basic individual membership at $25, and it gives you voting rights within the Live Events Coalition, gives you access to industry job listings. It will give you all of our industry advocacy updates, and there's a host of other things that you can choose for whichever membership suits not only your financial needs, but your willingness to contribute to the Live Events Coalition. I'm not going to go over each and every one of them. You can go online and visit them, review them, see what works for you. But what I would encourage each and every one of you to do tonight is become a member. And the reason I will say over and over and over again, we are fighting for you tirelessly. And we want to be able to say to the legislators, we want to be able to say to the policymakers, we started out with no members, and in a very short period of time, we have converted our signatures over to members. And there's a lot of things long-term that we want to be able to offer to our members, but we don't want to get out of the gate and tell you things that we do not have in place. But there are many things that we do have in place that we want you to look at, that we want you to review, and we want you to feel confident, and we want you to feel strongly that we are the voice for you. The education and everything else that we get from the associations and the support that we get from them will always remain. That will not change. But this needs to change, that we do not have a voice collectively. And 12 million of us together can be a very powerful force. We just need to rise up. So I am asking every single one of you that are listening tonight to please join the coalition and allow us to move forward and very powerfully on your behalf. If anybody has any questions about membership, you can always email me. You can find me, Bonnie@cafealacarte.com. You can email me at the Live Events Coalition. I want to be able to answer any questions that you have, and just know that even if you can't do a large level of contribution, if we were able to convert over those 470,000 people at $25, we will have a very strong and loud voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. So there is a question about what these funds are being used for. It's a valid question. We are an all-volunteer organization. So I think if I missed saying that, I'm going to say it. We are an all-volunteer organization. There's no salaries that are being paid. The fees will cover our operating expenses, which there are some. They are helping us with our technology needs that we have to pay for. They have helped us with some of our filing fees and things of that nature. Currently, the board and a few others are what have kind of financed those activities. And in addition, it is to help us with our lobbying and communications costs. They are very expensive. We all should have become lobbyists in another life, is all I'm going to say. But that is really what it's being used for. As Bonnie said, look, guys, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and this is the reaction of a pandemic, and this is the creation from a pandemic. I've been in this industry for almost 30 years, and I've always wondered why there wasn't one voice and one place that we could all come together. As Bonnie said, all of these other associations are so critical and so important, and they provide amazing benefits for members. But as an ecosystem that is whole, that is the one thing that was missing. And so we needed to create it to make sure that we are heard. So all of the funds are used for operating for any of our expenses. And look, if we end up converting those 470,000 people, maybe we can have other funds. Right now, we just need to make sure that our voices are heard. So I hope that that addresses the question. If there are any other questions, please feel free to email them to info@liveeventscoalition.org. Keep posting them in the chat, and we'll continue to answer them.
And I'll just piggyback too. I mean, along the communications plan, we are trying to really raise funds because we have a communications plan, but we need to actually create a budget for some advertising and marketing expenses. So not just social media, but the goal would be, as you see the Restaurant Association, other associations at U.S. Steel, you can actually see commercials on television. So if we do very well, from the communication side, it is very impactful what we do with our communications to not just get the attention of politicians, but the politicians follow the voters. If we can get the voters thinking about the live events industry and the role we play, the same way other major industries and associations and other industries do, that is going to play well for us. And if there's ever been a time when we need support from the American public, it's now. So that's what we're using the funds for, is really anything and everything towards this advocacy campaign that can help our industry survive until we can do business again.
And when we say our industry survive, I want to make sure that everybody understands our industry is our people. We are the industry. It's not about a brick and mortar. It's not about that. It is about each individual that makes up an organization, each individual who's a 1099, each individual who may work multiple projects. We are each involved in this. A lot of those other entities that are very well funded, whether it is the Restaurant Association or the hotels or the casinos. Somebody said something to me today that I found quite compelling, which is, we don't have retail. You don't walk down the street and see us. We've done a really, really good job of staying behind the curtain. That's our job. Our job is to disappear. Somebody mentioned who's on back of house types of jobs. We wear black so that you don't see us. So it's important that we get seen. We're just not known to the world the same way hotels that are now empty or restaurants that are empty. I joke, we don't have a Tom Colicchio to talk about us and the restaurant industry challenges. And that's not to say that those are not important. We do events in restaurants. I consider them, they're our brothers and sisters, but we have to be loud and we have to be seen.
Nancy, one thing I wanted to add as well, for people that are out there listening, when we talk, and I really want to clarify this and send the message home. Each association that many of us belong to, each one of those associations really focus on, and I'll use, MPI as an example. That's for meeting planners. If you're a meeting planner, that's where you're going to go. If you're with ILEA, International Live Events Association, you have your home there. With NACE, the National Association for Catering and Events, if you are an event planner, if you're a caterer, that's your home. And they are very focused on their specific areas. NAWP, the National Association for Wedding Planners. If you want to find a wedding planner, that's where you're going to go. You want your certification, that's where you're going to go. I have had so many conversations with people trying to explain to them, because we all pay very hefty fees for these membership dues to belong to these associations. And the general membership of those associations doesn't really understand that they are not a lobbying arm. They cannot advocate for us in the way that the Live Events Coalition will. So that's very, very important for all of us to understand. We are taking a huge step for our industry to try and bridge the impossible and bring the impossible together. So when we all talk about our different aspects of the industry, we've got, like Eileen, who does everything from live concerts and Super Bowl and major, major, major events. And that's one huge segment that she deals with. And then when you take a person like myself, who's been affiliated with NACE for over 20 years, the National Association for Catering and Events, and I'm coming at it from a completely different set of eyes for the people that I represent and the people that I am trying to bridge forward to a completely different level in the industry. Same with Isaac, same with Alex. We are all bringing and trying to join 12 million people together that are in so many different facets of our industry. But at the end of the day, we're all part of this one huge ecosystem that has been decimated. And with that said, this is why I ask all of you, please give up your Starbucks, not promoting Starbucks. Everybody knows I do coffee. Give up your Starbucks for the week. Join, have your voice be heard. Go on the Live Events Coalition website tonight. And I really, truly implore you to join us. You will not be disappointed in the advocacy that we are going to be doing on your behalf. So I truly ask you tonight to join with us and be part of one voice.
I'd also like to piggyback on that and say, if you want to become involved in the coalition, or you want to be involved in one of our state coalitions, please just email us. If you do join, I believe that when you get down to the bottom, there's a question that says, if you would like to become more involved, let us know, and we'll get back to you. So we're creating national committees that we're going to need creative and wonderful people. And guys, there is nobody better than us in this industry to do things that are creative and logistics and smart and, you know, innovative and state of the art. That's who we are. And so you can join one of our state coalitions that need efforts so that you know that the work in your state is being done. If there's not a coalition in the state that you're from, you might be willing to start a state coalition. But there are lots of ways to become involved, and we want to embrace everybody as much as we possibly can. So if that is of interest, I think you can do it through the join button, but also you can do that through info at the, I almost gave you my other hat email, info at liveeventscoalition.org. And Minnesota has just informed me that they have a great coalition. So if there's anybody out there, we're going to hook you up with Amy, and you guys can join that amazing coalition. I know New York, New Jersey has one as well. Jackie Bernstein and Anthony Girardi are on here as well. So, you know, guys, it's hard sometimes, as I said earlier. It's overwhelming. But I can tell you that for me, the effort that I put in, and knowing that every day I'm trying to make a difference, and knowing that Bonnie is, and Eileen, and Isaac, and Alex, and all of the others that are involved in this organization. Illinois apparently is amazing too. Oh, that's Allie. So, you know, all of those things are important, and we really just want you to understand that we really are here for you. We want your thoughts. If you got an idea, please share it with us. You know, we can't change and we can't fix things if we don't know what your thoughts and feedback is. So we take it all, and we want to be your voice. We need to be your voice, and we want to do this together. Do we have other questions?
Not at the moment.
Nope, it doesn't look like we have other questions. So I think unless there is, Bonnie alluded to one last thing. Bonnie alluded to a couple of different levels of memberships. So we have some larger memberships or partner sponsorships. So if you know somebody in the industry or out of the industry that wants to help us make a difference, please direct them to one of us, have them go to the join page. If it's something that's unique and different, they can reach out to any of us. We can sit and have conversations about what might be right. and let us know what your thoughts are.
Nancy, I just had somebody who sent me a message asking me what is the difference between the Live Events Coalition and Go Live Together. And my immediate response to that would be, I signed up for Go Live Together as well because I'm interested in getting as much information from everywhere as I possibly can at this point. One thing to know is that Go Live Together, once COVID is behind us, from what I understand, they will be, I hate to use the word disbanded, but they are only here and happening during COVID. The Live Events Coalition is an ongoing, not going to end coalition moving forward so that the 12 million of us have a voice now, next week, next year. And as long as we need to be heard, we need to be a powerful voice. We need to be heard. And we need to be able to have a seat at the table, no matter who the president is in the future, so that they understand the devastation to the live events industry. And anybody that's listening right now knows that our turmoil and our devastation isn't going to end in November. It's not going to end in December. It probably won't end in January or February either. This is going to be a very long haul for many of us. The Live Events Coalition is moving forward and it will continue. And we are in this again for the long haul. We are not a temporary coalition. So I want to make sure that everybody understands the difference. And again, through the industry associations that have aligned with us, they understand that we are in this for the long haul. So I hope that answered the question.
There's also a little more to it than that. Go Live Together is an action that was created by a large production organization. I don't think that it's a secret. It was started by Freeman, and their focus is really on that side of the industry. So while they say that it is all together and all encompassing, it really is not. And they are focusing on a higher level. So we actually are having conversations with Go Live. They like the fact that we're the front line, guys. As somebody said, we're the worker bees. We're the people that get it done every day. So we have created a survey, which is also, I believe, on the website, that they want the data from so that we can see where everybody is and who we are. So they are slightly different. And as Bonnie said, their goal is to not be a permanent organization. And for that, great. But we are different, and we are here for a longer haul and with a slightly different purpose, in that we are looking at the needs and impact of small businesses, independents, and not as many of the larger organizations, because they are better funded than we are. If someone wants to join and the $25 is a hardship, please let us know. We're not going to turn you away. We want everybody's voice. So just let us know. Shoot us that email at the info at liveeventscoalition.org, and we will have a conversation with you and make sure that you can be a part of our organization.
And the other thing I also wanted to clarify, we are completely transparent. So there's no questions that you can't come to any one of us and ask. What are we doing legislatively? Who are we talking to? I mean, we are getting information and we are learning things, I like to say, live as they're happening with the politicians. So, although right now we may not disseminate everything immediately, because we want to ensure what we're putting out there is factual and not rumor or hearsay or something that somebody may have asked for. So once we have information that we know, any type of legislation that we are sounding the whistle to for any of our local politicians, learn who is your representative in your zip code. That is so critical as a starting point. Google your local representatives. If they don't know who you are right now, introduce yourself. Let them know. The louder we roar, the more powerful we are.
Once you become a member and you're in the membership portal website that we've built, it tells you ways that you can get involved and ways that you can contact your representatives. We have a tool that's a letter generator so that it sends a letter directly to the representatives who represent you. It has the information on the awareness campaign that we're building, and there's about 8 other actions you can take that we've built in there so that everybody knows what they can do personally to help the efforts and build our voice stronger. So on top of just becoming a member, it helps you get involved. If you don't want to volunteer with us, there are other ways that you can use your voice, which amplifies our voice. And the more people that are able to do those things, the more people are going to hear about us, the more the policymakers are going to hear about us, and the more the general public will be aware of us. So we urge you to take all of the actions that you can just to get the word out.
What I want to say to everybody is thank you, that we stand next to you, we stand with you, and we are going to make enough noise that they know that we're here and that they pay attention to us, and that we all survive this and then we thrive. We are here for you. So with that said, oh, good. Lou can hear. Lou, I just want you to know that Alex did talk. And before he started to say something, I was going to tell everybody he really does talk. He does, and he has a voice. So I'm glad that everybody can hear. Someone just made a very, very good point, and I'm going to make this our closing point. And this is not only your current representatives. Contact any candidate that is running. They want your vote. They have to listen to you, and they are going to be what's next. Some that are incumbents will stay, but many may not. So use your voice. It's an odd thing if you've never been engaged like this for all of us, but it's where we are and it's what we have to do. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for their time. I want to thank them in advance for their support. I want to encourage you all to ask any and all questions and reach out to us. We will be happy to hop on a call and have a more extended conversation. And I want to wish you all a really happy 4th of July. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. It is our honor
to serve,
represent, and to serve you. It truly, truly is. So thank you all.
Yes, thank you.
Night.
Thank you, everyone.